Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. Now let's just get into it. Now, before we even start, this, we want to give the thoughts and prayers to Mike Hart. He had a seizure, I believe they said, on the sideline, and they didn't show it, thank God, but we just saw him on the sideline, on the ground. They had to get the ambulance. Well, they had to get the stretcher and everything and say they took him to an ambulance, to a hospital, but he had a seizure, told the team he was all right and don't worry about him, go out and play. Now, let's just get into it. Thoughts and prayers to him. So, Michigan just beat Indiana 31-10, I believe, was the final score. And this looked like a trap game for a minute longer than a minute, but for the first half and some of the third quarter or second half. Now, at first it looked like we were going to run them over. Blake gets a touchdown, early long run. It's looking good. I think we made them punt and got it back, and then we punted, and they were just stretching the defense out and getting rid of the ball. The tackling was suspect. The eye discipline on defense was looking suspect. And we're trying to get players on and off the field. And it was just, and then Mike Hart collapsed. Blake's crying or close to crying. Donovan Edwards is looking like he's about to cry. And it's just shaky. Then we get in the red zone. They block our kick. They get in the red zone. We block their kick. Shout out to Mike Morris. And it ends the first half ends 7-7. Then second half we score, get up 17-10, and then the D line just starts to take hold. Shout out to Jesse Minter for his second half adjustments. He shuts out Indiana second half. JJ starts to get more passing yards and kind of get control of the game a little bit more. He threw a pick second half, but he came back, got the offense moving because the run game wasn't very good second half until the game was almost over. So we get going with that, get a couple touchdowns, and then get a final touchdown to close it 31-10. Now, besides that, this game was a struggle bus for a lot of it. And I guess I'll start with the offense. One, the refs were horrible. The refs were horrible in this game, and they seemed confused on a lot of calls they were making. They were just confused. They were calling flags on any and everything. And we had probably 8-9 penalties in this game and like 100 penalty yards. So that was just a big thing. The refs were confused and didn't know what was going on. We had 10 penalties for 85 yards. So that was a big thing. We made some mistakes mentally, but the refs were just calling it real tight. So that was that. But let's see. On offense, Blake is a beast. Now, Blake is a beast. He just does what he can, gets upfield, knows when to cut it back and to how to set up his blocks. He's a beast. But in this game, and why we struggled, because we want to run the ball, but what happened was Indiana was committed to stopping the run. And when you've got a guy like Harbaugh who's I'm gonna run it, and you got a defense that's playing decently well and committing to stopping the run, you're going to struggle on some drives. And that's what was happening for a big portion of this game. Because Blake got most of his yards on that 50-yard run. He finished with 124. He got most of that on that 50-yarder. And then for most of the second quarter and most of the third quarter, pretty much all the third quarter, he didn't get many yards because they were just committed. We're running into 8-man fronts and stuff like that. So what we had to throw to set up the run, and that's just what had to happen. By the time we were able to run it again, we had kind of established that we'll throw on you. And then Indiana was kind of like, all right, we're down 14 with 6 minutes left. It's about over for us. So that's that. Let's see. The first drives are on point. Like, our first drive play calling is very good. But as the game goes along, Moore and Weiss, they're struggling to understand how to set things up to me. They're struggling on how to set up plays, whether that's, okay, if you're going to run the ball as much as we run it, and this is infuriating to me, you have to use the play action. I swear, me and Joe Klatt, we're saying the same thing. I'm in my group chats and I'm saying, why aren't we using the play action? Why aren't we using the play action? Just play after play, you're running it when they're begging you. They're begging you to use the play action. It needs to be used more. Even if they're stopping the run and they're pinning their ears back with the safeties and the linebackers, you have to use the play action. That's why you run the ball like that. To use the play action to open up your passing game. So it's infuriating to watch them do that. Because you're not using your scheme to make your offense as good as it can be. If you're going to run the ball like we do, you use the play action to get bombs, to make the defense get out of position. Now, here's these longer passes. This is basic football. This ain't something mind-boggling. This is basic football. You run the ball, and once they commit and stay committed, you play action pass them. This ain't nothing. This is nothing special. Joel Klatt was saying it all game. Before he's even saying it, I'm like, they're ready for the play action. Now, fourth quarter, they used a few, but they should have been using them way before that because Indiana was determined to try to stop the run game. So they're going to have to learn how to call these games and see and understand earlier what the defense is doing and how to counter that. Let's see. Put speed on the field in 3rd and long. Now, Schoonmaker had a good game, but this is the thing. 3rd and long, use the wide receivers. Use your wide receivers. I can run, and I said this before, you can run a drag route. You can run a drag route to Schoonmaker. He might get 5. Unless it's a blown covers, then he can run. You run it to Cornelius Johnson, and he gets a little space. He's going to turn that corner and make a big play. Touchdown. You want to use certain plays for speed. You run a drag, and let's say the guy gets separation. He gets 6 yards. You use a fast receiver, he can get you 20. It's about getting explosive plays. You want explosive plays, not check down. Not these check down plays. So, let's see. And shout out to Indiana. They played a good game. First half at least. Let's see. Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards wants to run. He wants to run to the outside too much. Now, this dude has all the talent to be a beast, but the difference between him and Blake is Blake understands I get outside when I can, or I push it outside first to set up my cutback. See, Donovan Edwards, he'll run past the hole in between the tackles to try to get outside. He wants to get outside. So 3rd and short, he's not the guy to have in the game because he'll miss something trying to get outside. You can't this ain't high school. You can't out leverage everybody to the outside as a running back. You can't do it. This ain't high school. So he has to, the more he learns that and they get it in him, like you can set your blocks up outside to come back inside. Or like Blake does, he pushes it inside, then cuts it back to the outside. Jump cuts to the outside. But you can't just, I'm going to try to run outside all the time. You can't do that. Let's see. Running into 8-man fronts. It's just not smart. Fourth downs, third and shorts, when you know, see the defense knows, see this is the thing. When the defense knows what you want to do, this is where it's chess, it's not checkers. Harbaugh and the offense coordinators, they work for him, so I'm saying this is him. And this is what he's got in their head. He wants to just run over everybody. He wants to, you can't just run over everybody. It's very few teams are able to just run over everybody. Oh, it's third down. We're going to run over you. You can't stop us. We're going to run over you. You're not going to be able to do that every week. It's just not likely. So when you see a team putting 8 in the box and they've had some success stopping your run, when you see they've got 8 in the box, guess what? You got a mobile QB. So what would be the thing to do? Either run the read to create deception or bootleg. Play action, bootleg. Get them to the outside. They're already looking for you to give it to Blake. Use that to your advantage. Play action, roll out. That's the bootleg to a tight end or to a receiver running a drag. You don't need nothing but 2 yards. Or if nothing's there, JJ can try to go on and scamper and get it. So these coordinators, they have to learn how to use what you've been doing all game to your advantage. We're not just running. You don't want to we're just running it to run it. No, we're running it so we can set up the play action over the top. We're running it so we can set up these bootlegs and get easy yards. I feel like we're just running it to we going to run it down your throat and we going to continue to run it down your throat. Yeah, that's fine if you could do that, but you're not going to be able to do that consistently. So you have to set these, we're establishing the run to play action, to bootleg, do other things to open up the offense. Now it's looking complete. That's that. Let's see. Last thing on the offense, pretty much. This goes into that. You don't want to keep wasting plays. When a defense commits to the run and you're not getting anything really, and it's a close game, and you just keep running it and getting 1, 2, you're wasting plays. Now, if you got a quarterback that's garbage, then I guess you ain't wasting plays. You're just going to try to grind it out. But we have a quarterback that's not garbage. So you're wasting plays. So start throwing. And they slowly got to this, but they wasted a lot of plays, I feel like. And that's just me trying to establish the run still when it was like, all right, bro. They're committed and we're not getting anything. You're wasting plays. Now, if you want to run the read, which they stopped running it for a while, and it was just handoffs. So you're just wasting plays. Let JJ get his feet under him and get control of the offense and win. Let him win this one for you for the most part, which they kind of did. So shout out to them on that. Let's see. And these are my last 2 things. On some of these, I'd like to see more slants. I saw Cornelius get a few, but I'd like to see more slants and not so many comeback routes, middle comeback routes. Like, if you got a disciplined defense, which this defense played pretty well, shout out to them. They played pretty disciplined and sound. When you keep running comeback routes, the defense is in the middle of the field. Those linebackers, if they're smart, they'll start sitting on it, and they started doing that. Like, run slants, because if you running a slant or a drag and the quarterback is rolling out, the slant is still going. He's going to keep running. So then, the quarterback still has somebody to throw to. But I see us running a lot of routes in a lot of routes that are like middle comebacks, and then JJ will be rolling out or something, or it's not there, and then they're just standing there covered. But if you're running slants and drags, the receiver keeps going. Now if JJ has to roll out, either way, he's got somebody to throw to. Those checkdowns, if they're just sitting there most of the time, it's easy to sit on that. Fundamentally sound and good defense you can get away with it early. After that, they're going to take it away. But shout out to JJ. He got 300 yards. I don't think any of it was on any long bomb throws, but it was taking what they give you, making smart decisions for the most part, and, slowly getting control of the offense and getting his feet wet and getting 300 yards and throwing 30-some times. So shout out to him. We would like to see a deep throw, but, it happens. The only thing I'll say about JJ in this one, he looks to the tight end check down a little too much. Me not even watching the game over, I saw some of the third downs they were showing, and I saw some open receivers farther down the field, and he was just looking for the check down. He didn't see him because he's already waiting for Schoonmaker on the check down. But with more reps in game and him being able to get control of the offense slowly, he should see those things and understand what the defense is doing and who's going to come open if you just wait a half a second longer. And you can throw the ball ahead to him because he's going to be open, but you got to kind of throw him open. Okay, that was long-winded, but there was a lot to talk about in this game. Yeah, this was a interesting game. Now this for the defense. Now defense first half horrible. I can't say horrible. They only gave up 10 points, but a lot of mistakes and miscues. Second half, they closed the door. So I'm gonna run through this one. So I don't want to get too long-winded on here. Junior Colson and the linebackers, whether it's Junior, Mike Barrett, and some of the DBs, when there were screens and things like that, they're second guessing themselves. This is eye discipline. They're second guessing themselves. Like, bro, you see that they're setting up that screen. So soon as the ball leaves the quarterback's hands and you see he's throwing it to the flat, go. That's your man, and that's what they're setting up. Stop worrying about everybody else and trying to guess. You see it, go do it. See, these dudes are thinking too much and they're not trusting their eyes. If the running back is running a wheel route and that's your man, what are you looking at the quarterback for? That's your man. Stay with your man. So you saw mistakes like that because guys are looking, and while you're looking, even if you look for a second and a half, that's a second and a half your man is beating you and you're getting out of position. That's your man. So what are you looking at? Go with your man. That's your key. Know your keys and stay on them. Know your assignment, your keys, and stay on that guy. So it's just eye discipline. They're looking, not in second guessing themselves. You see it, go. Indecisive. You can't be indecisive in football because the game moves too fast. You have to make your decision and go. You see it, go. So that's that. And that's not just for Junior Colson. That's for Mike Barrett. I saw Yobi Oki looking, and he looked like 3 times. I was like, well, come on, baby. Go, you got to make a decision. So that's that. Tackling was soft. That soft tackling it's especially first half and some of the third quarter, it's just soft. Like dudes are pulling up before they get there. You got to, if a guy is close on the sideline, you pop him. Stop pulling up. What are you pulling up for? That's a knockout shot. Clean him up. What you waiting for? What you slowing down for? That's the funnest part of the game. Some of these tackles, when a dude is already slowed down and he's on the sideline, you finish him. Knock him out. These dudes are slowing up on some knockout shots. Hit. Get out there and hit, baby. It's okay to hit. I know it's 2022 and they try to make the game soft, but you can still hit. Let's see. The defense was confused. So Indiana was running this air raid, no huddle, and the defense was just confused. Whether it was whose assignment, lining up, and just a bunch of things, who getting on and off the field. They were just confused first half. And I know first half, a lot of us had to be like, oh God, oh boy. This ain't going, oh boy, well, don't let this happen. Not to Indiana. Nah. This can't be happening. Not with them. Not this time. Come on now. So they were confused and it wasn't looking good. Whether it was mistakes, whether it was confusion, whether it was guys getting on and off the field. And some of that was the refs, because the refs were horrible too. But it was just confusion. And it was good to see second half they got that under. Shout out to Jesse Minter. His second half adjustments were to shut him out. So his second half adjustments were on point. That's A+. That's A+ because they didn't barely move the ball second half. They ain't barely have no yards second half. No offense. All they little success they had in the first half, he said, it's over for you. D-line. Whether it was Oki, Junior Colson, Mike Morris, Derek Moore, defensive line was getting after him. I thought they were going to knock that quarterback out, but he played tough, so shout out to him. But they got about 7 sacks. I think they got 6 on him and 1 on whoever the backup was. Rod Moore had a pick in this game. Shout out to him, but the defense is, as far as pursuit and tackling, it was lacking on those screens for a lot of this game. They cleaned it up second half, but that's just something to see. That's pretty much it with that. Second half of the pass rush, great. They were getting after him. And part of that, and I know people are going to say, people were complaining somewhat in the first half, but you got to understand, if a team is just passing it every time, you're not going to get pressure every time. That's part of it. You're not going to get pressure every time and they're dropping back every time and people are confused in the secondary and things like that. Who's coming on, who's coming off, the calls because of these different these super wide sets and stuff like that. So that's just part of it. But second half, them boys said, all right, it's enough. Enough is enough. And they shut him down. Jesse Minter, great job. Total team game with everything that happened with Mike Hart, the collapsing and, seeing a coach that's like another parent to a lot of these guys. So that had a lot to do with it, but I'm not going to say that's full because play calling after that first drive, it wasn't that good until second half, mid third quarter. So that was a big part of it is just the play calling. You constantly want to run into these 7 and 8 man fronts when they're keying in on the run game, but you're not calling play actions. If somebody is keying in on the run game, they're begging you ain't gonna do no play action. And they wouldn't for most of the game. Like these offensive coaches or coordinators, they have to understand when you run the ball like we run it, you have to run the play action. That's basic football. You run the ball, then you play action off of it. They got to understand that's, and even if you stop running it, but they're already keyed in on the running game, so they're going to still fall for the play action because you established it all first half. This is simple football. And I know some people get on here, well, you're not a coach and you don't, I know football. So I don't care if you're not a coach, you ain't this. I know football. That's what I know. Then, late in the game, we do play action with deception. That's last point. Deception. We have to get better at deception. We'll and Joel Klatt was saying this, we'll motion every time for a run, but we don't motion when we pass. That gives away the keys to your offense to the defense. So they know if it's motion, it's a run. So you have to do motion when you don't run. You know why? It creates deception. So you'll run a play that you normally run it out of. You'll bring that motion with a play action. Now they're committed to the run and you got somebody wide open. You have to set things up for bigger things. That's how you make your offense complete, is by deception. We run the ball to open up our passing game with play action passes. We bring guys in motion when we run because we're going to bring them in motion when we pass to create deception. Now they don't know what's coming. So those are the things that the offensive coordinators have to understand to make this offense what it can be. Offensive line, shout out to them. Indiana was committed to the run, but when we passed, JJ had all day. Even with the injury to Jones, I believe, the offensive line is playing very well. So shout out to them. Shout out to Ronnie Bell. Shout out to Schoonmaker. Cornelius Johnson dropped the pass, came back, caught a drag, took it to the house. Shout out to him. Andrell Anthony, big catch. Shout out to him. JJ bounced back from having throwing that pick. Shout out to JJ. Donovan Edwards, shout out to him. You got to run between them tackles and stop trying to get outside. But the offense just has to understand how to set things up and then counter what the defense is trying to do. Jesse Minter struggled first half. Shout out to that man right there. Now that's how you coach. Okay, you showed me this all first half. This is what y'all doing. Y'all gave us trouble with this. Second half, you get nothing. You get nothing. You thought you had something. You get nothing second half. That's coaching right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's all I got for this one, y'all. This looked like a trap game. I mean, the final score is deceptive of how this game actually played out. But it is what it is. Michigan ended up rolling them pretty much in the second half. Defense, lights out, you get nothing. You played well first half, second half, you won't get nothing. But that's just how it goes. Shout out to the defensive line, all those players. Rod Moore with a pick. DJ Turner playing aggressive and physical. I like the edge of DJ Turner. You need somebody to play with an edge. I like it. You need to have somebody that's going to play physical with an edge to him. Even if it does cost you a penalty here and there, the mindset and the physicality and the edge of, I'm a dog, so what's up? I like it. Jamon Green, that boy covering. Jamon Green out there covering. He ain't going to find the ball, but his coverage itself, that boy playing. But he's always been able to cover very well. But the linebackers got to work on their eye discipline. It's lacking. And the safeties also. Makari Page. If you playing safety, bro, you see that ball deep. Why are you looking 2-3 times at where the ball is? You look once and then you know where it's going. We got beat on a pass. DJ Turner got beat a little bit. And Makari, if he just looks and then runs, he's going to be in position to get to the ball first. But he looks again. I think he looked 3 times. Bro, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? This man done lobbed the ball up. So what are you looking at, bro? Go get it. So those are just some things to work on. The few yards that they did get in the run game, Indiana, it's more because of the linebackers not flowing to the ball and their eye discipline, and they're taking bad angles. The linebackers, they just got to get better on a consistent basis because their eye discipline and they're second guessing themselves. They got to get it in their heads that they know what they're doing. They have to, this is just them not being as comfortable as they could or should be. But second half, them boys did what they have to do. You get nothing. I like that. That'll do. That'll do, pig. So let's change that. That'll do, Wolverine. That'll do. So shout out to the defense. That's what we want to see. Second, if you're going to struggle, it's beautiful to see them come out second half and give nothing. So that's all I got for this one, y'all. We end up handling them. Big second half, 31-10, and we on to Penn State. It's real now. So all those mistakes I was harping on, and we coming up to the games where it has to be fixed or it can cost you. That's why I'm talking about it now. So like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.